We wanted to create a fun, non-judgmental space where women can talk about their shared experiences.
Here, we will normalize the challenges we face as females living in a society that dictates unrealistic and outdated expectations on what a woman should be.
Together, we hope to cultivate a supportive community of women who empower one another to courageously live unapologetically.
A quick disclaimer before we get started. Although Cindy and Danielle are licensed therapists, this podcast is not to be interpreted as therapy or a replacement of therapeutic services. It is strictly a conversation between two women about their experiences in the world today. If you liked today's episode, please make sure to like and subscribe below. Also, follow us on all social media platforms at Unapologetically Females. With that being said, we hope you enjoy this next episode.
Welcome back. We're here again.
Yes.
Nice to see you.
We're here, but we're not in our normal place.
Yeah, we've had a hiatus for what, 2 months? Almost?
Yeah.
At least 6 weeks now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So during that 6 weeks, a lot has happened.
Yes, it has. Yeah. Little life update. Should I go first? Do you want to go
Yeah,
first?
I mean, we can talk about why we're not in our normal
Sure.
filming in our studio.
Our studio apartment.
Yeah.
So July 4th weekends, the home that we usually film in flooded from a broken fire sprinkler pipe. My younger daughter came home to the ceiling falling in and water gushing. And so that was, we're at the end of August now. So it's been about a 3-month process altogether. And this was 2 days before I was going in for elective rhinoplasty, and had my lids done as well. And then came, because that's what you do at 50 apparently, we can get into the rhinoplasty later, moved into this place, which has been wonderful, and the host has been just lovely woman, and my landlord was lovely with the flood. And then my dog was not used to the stairs here and pulled me down the stairs into the railing, and I got 8 stitches in my forehead and a concussion for 2 weeks. So maybe 3 weeks.
It's been fun.
It's been fun. Yeah. So
What an adventure.
it's been an adventure. Yes. I'm happy to say goodbye to July.
Yes.
And probably August too.
Yes.
Yeah.
We've both been, I feel like, back and forth going, like, can we start over yet?
Right.
We need a reset.
We kind of took a summer break, but it wasn't a fun summer break.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
we had intentionally said we were going to not record in July because you were getting your surgery.
Mm-hmm.
But we had planned on, I think, at the end of July recording again, but then the flood happened and the head happened. And
I think the head was the icing on the cake.
Yes.
And then, you had some things going on as well.
Yeah.
And
back to school has been an adjustment, I think, for all of us. So we had here in Arizona, kids go back to school so early.
I don't understand because it's still so hot.
It's brutal.
Yeah.
And when there's an excessive heat warning, they can't go outside to the playground.
Yeah.
So then they're just staying. It's like rainy day schedule, but hot day schedule.
Right.
Like,
and then they're locked up and
it's terrible.
Can't get the wiggles out.
Yeah, it's terrible. So the beginning of the school year has just been a big adjustment, I think, for everyone. And so we've had a lot going on, and a lot of, I feel like, just appointment after appointment lately. Just doing some health stuff and figuring things out. And so thankfully, I feel like things are settling. We're getting closer to being on the other side of all of it. I've said a few times now, I'm like, I can't wait for the burr months. Like, I just I need us to go into a new season. So September is our new season. So we have another week, and then I'm like, we're turning the page and
yes,
onward and upward.
Yeah. Somebody just said last night, they're like, oh my gosh, I turned 50 last September, and that was a year ago. And it flew by, how fast time goes, right?
I feel like this last year has been I blinked, and because I still remember, we were just at your birthday party.
Right.
We just had it.
I know. Yeah.
It's gone by so fast.
So fast.
Yeah. So we've had a rough, I would say a little bit rough couple months, but we're doing better.
Yeah, and it's also given us time to reflect on where we want to go with this brand and where we want to go with this podcast. And so this is new to Rita too, new information. But we'd like to kind of make the podcast a little more personal. And we've been thinking about sharing some of our favorite influencers on our pages, and just kind of helping people to get to know us a little bit better, and then also our interests, and hope that somebody will, resonate with that, or learn something from that, or just enjoy seeing some of the things that we enjoy.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons that Danielle and I thought that we would be good partners in this is that we have an age difference, of 10 years. Our kids are different ages. We have some differences, and we also have different interests. And so between the two of us, we hope to cover like a broader audience in that way. So hopefully you guys can watch us on that journey and follow us and enjoy it. And that being said, we reached out to you guys for some ideas, and thank you for sending those in. Super grateful for that, and got some really great questions and heartfelt questions. Like, we could just tell in the way that it's written that you guys really thought about these questions. Yeah, so vulnerable. And really, really appreciate you guys opening up and saying, hey, here's something that I'm struggling with, or something that I'd like to hear somebody else's side of. So, that being said, should we go into the first one?
Yeah. So we got this one from one of our listeners, and Cindy's going to read the exact question so we don't mess it up.
Right, exactly. Well, and also I think
statement.
I think that I really want to respect the way that things were worded, because, like you said, it's very vulnerable to send in these questions. So the first one is, I will be turning 64 soon and have been struggling for a few years dealing with getting old in a society that emphasizes looking young. And the second part of that we're going to cover in a different podcast. But I think this is something that is so common, especially here in Arizona, especially in the cities that we live in, and then just with social media. And I think the way that we've evolved as women, almost we have more pressure now to stay looking young than generations before us.
For sure. Yeah. I also think that, the individual that wrote us she said she's 64, right? And I feel like it starts.
Oh, I think it starts way younger.
Yeah. And so I don't know how long she's been experiencing these feelings, but I'm like, I know, we talk about it often, and you just had, some work done,
I did.
We'll talk about that. But, we've joked for years now, and I'm like, I have no shame in saying, like, these are all the things I want.
These are all the things we want to do, the lasers and the wrinkle-free whatevers, and
And I think there's also something to, there's balance in it, right? And we just talked about, I went and had a facial a couple days ago, and my esthetician is really big on like facial manipulation and doing these like massages and
lymphatic drainage,
rather than injections. So rather than using any sort of Botox or filler or things like that. And so she's been on this journey for a couple years now, and I showed you her side by side.
Yeah, she looks amazing.
It's crazy though how she's been Botox free for, I don't know, it's been a few years now, and being consistent with the facial massage, and it has changed her face. Like and she's not wrinkly or anything. You know what I mean? Like so I think that, but still in my mind I'm like, oh, I have these like lines right here, or my laugh lines. I always talk about that. And she was saying, she's like, it's, I understand that we don't want lines, but she's like, keep it in perspective. Like you have them because you smile or things like that.
Right.
Where I'm like, yes, I get it.
I think that's the core of that question too, is like, how do I learn to embrace myself getting older in a society that is telling me that I shouldn't look older?
Why do you think that is? Why do you think that we're not aging the same way? Is it products? Is it food? I think our food's probably gotten worse.
I think our food's gotten worse. I think it's messaging. I really do. I think it's like, we have more access to products and more products are being made all the time. We now have social media and way more media and judgment, right? And this need to put out or project this perfect version of ourselves or more perfect version of ourselves and our families and what we're doing and what we look like. And they didn't have that back then.
Yeah. I feel like we're starting to like come into a new, I don't know if it's a fad or a trend, but what I was just talking about of like aging naturally, but doing alternative treatment. So whether it's lasers or whether it's, the facial manipulation, or, people are doing all kinds of different things, but red light therapy and,
guilty of that. I love it. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So like all of these different alternative approaches that aren't invasive, that aren't injecting,
that you can do in your home.
Right. So I feel like probably, I don't know, in the last 20 years, people were really accepting and leaning into injectables.
Yeah.
I feel like. And now I have noticed this shift. Have you noticed it where it's,
I've heard,
again, I don't know if it's a trend, but it's like, I don't know why it's happening.
No, I've heard from people that they're leaning away from injectables and more towards, gua sha and things like that. Yeah, for sure. But along with that comes, gua sha is something, or things like that is something that you have to do every day. You have to wake up in the morning. You have to take the time. You have to make time for that and set aside time.
A esthetician does she's like, you should do it, every day. She also used these little facial cupping. And so you have to be really careful with it because it will bruise you.
Hickeys all over your face.
But that was, and she's like, you can do that 1 to 2 times a week. And it was interesting. Like you feel the difference in your face as it's, after she did it, it was like, whoa, I even showed you my before and after. And it was noticeable of just, the drainage, the inflammation, things like that. But
along with that, you have to set aside the time. I mean, you have 2 young kids, right? Like, how hard is it for you to make time to do facial cupping twice a week and gua sha every morning and a full-time job and a husband and, like it's a lot easier to go every 3 months and get Botox and have somebody do it, And I'm not a proponent for either one. I've had Botox, I've had all the things, but I think back at the core of it is, why do we feel so the necessity to do these things, right?
Stay young.
To not like embrace our wrinkles, to embrace the fact that we're getting older, the gray hair and the, is there a fear of growing older? Is there a fear of being judged? Like, why are we trying to,
I think it's all of it,
make ourselves look younger?
Yeah.
And I'm asking this to myself too.
Right.
I mean,
what was your draw to get rhinoplasty and the what is it,
bleph? Yeah.
Something. Yeah.
So bleph, for anybody that doesn't know, it's when your eyelids, as you get older, your eyelids start to kind of droop a little bit. It can also be genetic. Some people's eyelids are genetically droopier and get it done earlier in their lifespan. But I've always wanted to redo my nose. I've mentioned before that I grew up in a pretty tough household as a kid, and I had broken my nose at least 3 times that I remember, and so it was crooked, and every time I looked in the mirror, it reminded me of my abusers. And it just was like a just daily reminder of my past trauma. And so I didn't like the way that it looked. I had been wanting to do it for a very, very long time. My ex-husband was against elective surgery, like going under, just going under anesthesia electively, because of some experiences that he had experienced. So out of, I guess, respect for him, never did it. And then finally I was like, you know what? I'm tired of, if I can do something about this and I can help myself feel better about myself and not have to continuously think of those past memories every time I look in the mirror, those people who, made my life so hard back then I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
And because I knew I was going under, I was like, well, I might as well do the eyes too.
A little of this, a little of that.
Yeah. So, for me, it was more of not because it was what I saw about myself and the message that was connected to the way that it looked. And that being said, I think that might be true for a lot of people that go into plastic surgery type of things, right? I think that more often than not, there's that negative messaging that we've been given, especially as women, that something on our body looks wrong.
Yes.
And whether that be a comparison game of, because naturally as human beings, we compare ourselves. And comparison, we've said this before, is the thief of joy. It's also the, it drives our need to look different or be different, and whether that's right or wrong,
Yeah. Yeah. I think, thanks for sharing that. I mean, there are probably many people out there that have similar stories of what you just shared, and that matters. So it's like, I think for people who are struggling with probably, in their minds weighing out, do I need to do this? And I think it really does come down to what it's about you and how you feel, and
for me, it was like my ultimate form of self-care. It was taking my power back from the people that hurt me.
Right.
And now every time that I look in the mirror, I'm proud of myself for making that decision and for doing that.
And that you were able to, you've put all of that. I mean, it's very empowering that you've been able to.
Well, and that's really important too. Not everyone is in a position to be able to do that or to afford it. And, so I feel very grateful that I am at a place in my life where I am able to do that. Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah.
I think back to what you had touched on a little earlier too of, why are we so compelled to stay young, and why is that different now versus 30, 40 years ago, as people age? I mean, I remember my mom, I look back at pictures when she was in her 30s, and my family grays early. I mean, this hair is not...
This hair isn't blonde,
so... I don't know if my mom was fully gray by the time she was in her 30s, but she was heavily gray. Yeah. And she would only, she would get her hair colored, but she would weave it. So it was like this salt and pepper look, because she also has black hair. And I look back at pictures of her, and I think that definitely, it does age you. It's fascinating to me because I don't ever remember looking at my mom and being like, oh, that hair is aging you.
Right.
But I look back at pictures and I see her, now, and as she's and throughout the many years that she's, completely covered, did a full coverage, of black hair. And it's like, she's aged well, and that I would say, just the gray hair alone, I feel like makes such a difference. It's fascinating to me when I look at the pictures. I'm like, wow, it made such a difference.
Totally. What made her do that? What made her go from embracing the gray to?
Yeah, I don't know.
Was it you? Did you?
I've never asked her that. I don't know why. I almost feel like once you commit to it, psychologically, right? You're like, oh, I don't need it. It's not that bad. And then you're like, oh, wait, it's that bad. And then, you know what I mean? Like maybe it's a mind thing. It's a psychological. And
totally.
I should ask her that. What made her? Because for me, I'm like, I'm definitely not fully gray by any means, but there's gray in my hair. And if I let it grow out, I mean, there would be shiny spots,
Right. So I guess the question is what keeps you from doing that? Why do you feel like you couldn't do that?
I don't want my hair to be gray. I hate it. I can't when it because it ages me.
Yeah.
It ages me.
But what does it remind? Yeah. Like for me, it's like it reminds me that I'm getting older.
Yes. Yeah. And that's hard. That's hard.
I know, but why is that so hard?
I don't know, because we all do. Like everyone does it. You know what I mean? Like we're all. I think it. And I do really think that it comes down to how you feel. And so it's like you need to take care of yourself in all the ways so that you feel good, right?
Right.
But there is that part, the vanity piece of it.
For sure.
And I also think that it is to the degree that it is now, I would assume because of how much we're consuming social media in general.
Yeah.
And so you compare, to all of the people that are coming up on your feeds or, celebrities or whatever. And the reality is they are investing so much time and money into looking a certain way. And that's just not,
it's not feasible.
It's not reality.
No,
and so
it's not sustainable,
but it's doing something to our minds, right? So
sure.
we are striving to achieve that level of, beauty, I guess.
Or youth.
Yep. And so I think that's really been the big shift because there wasn't media back in the day like that, like we have now, the way that we consume it now, the people that you saw, I'll stick with women, the women you saw on television, reflected the women that were in their homes. You know what I mean? Like, and now that's not the case.
Now we're like, and this podcast included, we're really empowering women to be, to do what it is that drives them and lights them up, and whether that be career or, whatever it is. There's so many opportunities now, but yes, our societal messages to women, thankfully, has changed a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I do think we're all just, we're striving to stay youthful because it's now that's what's been accepted, and that's all we're seeing.
But what it makes me think of, and this came up in a group that I was doing the other night, is we kind of take advantage of our health and the fact that we're in healthy bodies, and we take advantage of it until we can't. Right? Until something happens, and then we realize, oh, if I spend as much time on my internal health as I did on my external look, I would feel better. I would, probably reflect that on the outside.
Right.
I would probably practice more self-care and learn to love myself more without needing to look a certain way.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. It's funny that you say that, because these last, few weeks, months, one of the things I've been figuring out is a drop in my blood pressure. And I was feeling crappy. I mean, when your blood pressure dips to a certain level, you just feel like shit.
Yeah.
Really. And so, navigating that and figuring all that out. And in the process, I immediately, I went extreme, so I'm like, cutting.
Catastrophize a little bit. We do.
Absolutely. And it was like I cut out all processed foods. I cut out, not that I will say we eat fairly healthy, weekly, daily. My husband cooks at home. Like it's not like we go out to eat a ton or anything like that. I don't eat closet food, as we call it, for my son, because he's like, I want closet food. So so for the most part, eating whole, real foods,
Right.
I went and switched to like a completely anti-inflammatory diet and cut out I went pretty extreme at first.
Yeah. Cutting out all alcohol is pretty extreme.
Yes, I cut out all alcohol. Yeah, it made a major shift. And I will say though, I did feel better once my blood pressure was stabilized and things like that. I did, I felt better. And so I do think that because I will say when I started having the health issues and the blood pressure stuff, there's nothing that like slaps you in the face and says like, oh my gosh, am I getting old? Or you are getting old.
Right.
Then a health issue that comes up, and you're like, I'm fine. And then all of a sudden, am I not? Like,
right.
And
so what steps are we taking preventatively to make sure that those health issues, or to try to make sure that those health issues don't, some of them are genetic, some of them are things that we can't control. But we also know that our mind, and this isn't in your case by any means, but our mind can create physical ailments, right?
100%.
Yeah. So what are we doing to keep our mental health healthy enough to keep our bodies healthy? And where is the focus on that, right? We're focusing so much on, I don't want to look old.
Right.
I don't want to
I don't want this crease in my face.
I don't want this crease in my face. I don't want people to think that I'm old.
I don't want my boobs down to my waist,
Right,
which I still don't. I'm not. I have no shame.
Right. But along those lines, like, what are we doing internally to make sure that we stay on the planet?
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
And because it's really not going to matter if my forehead doesn't have wrinkles if I'm not
here
breathing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think that is a huge element, being in a healthy space mentally, because you absolutely can make yourself sick.
Yeah.
I think I've gone under anesthesia 2 times, and the 2 times that I've gone under anesthesia, because I'm anxious and nervous, I have, my body responds with heat. And so I will raise my body temperature. Like, there was one time where they're like, I don't know if we, like, are you sick? And I'm like, this is just how I get.
Yeah.
Like,
This is what my body does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, we're able to 100% contribute to our ailments, just with the power of our minds and our thoughts.
Totally.
And I think that if we're not moving our bodies, and if we're not, and there's also the brain gut connection. And so, what's going on, our gut health directly impacts, our brain health and mental health and overall well-being and how we're feeling. And
there's that vasovagal response, right?
Yes.
Like, our vasovagal nerve is our soul nerve. It like runs from the base of our skull all the way through our major organs down into our gut.
Right.
So when it's firing and when we're feeling hard emotions, we're going to feel it physically.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think that's a huge piece of this is really, if we're able to focus on our mental well-being and our physical well-being, then we can get to a place perhaps that we can make decisions about how we want to look, our external appearance, from a healthy mind
Set. Yes.
perspective. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because healthy people are happy people, and happy people look younger.
Right. There you go.
Right.
Well, and I also, I think that it's important to say, like, you have disclosed today, like, you had your nose and your eyes done. Like, we're not saying that.
No, I mean,
Yeah. Like, this isn't about judgment or everybody needs to do what's best for them and whatever that means to feel good. And so
Exactly.
I think for me, the biggest takeaway is that as long as you're doing it for yourself from a healthy space, then so be, like, that's all that matters, you know?
Right.
And so if, as long as it's not, again, the comparison is the thief of joy sort of thing.
Yeah.
So it's like looking at, you know, the 25-year-old Instagram, you know, or not even Instagram model, but like you know, celebrities and things like that, and going, oh, I want to look like that. Or, you know, going in, I think it's really dangerous to go into a surgeon's office and say, make me look like this person. I think that's a huge red flag of if you're striving to look like a celebrity,
then you want to ask yourself, why do I feel like I need to look like somebody else? Why do, you know? And yeah, I think that's the question too, is embracing, why is it hard for me to embrace age? Why is it, and honestly, when I read this question, I had a little bit of imposter syndrome because I was like, we're going to talk about this. And I just, you know, had some plastic surgery myself. So I feel like for me, it was a little bit different. It wasn't just to look younger. My eyes were, for sure. And I think that when we're struggling with this question of what do I do to make myself happier, knowing that I'm growing older and I'm trying to compete with society's message of you shouldn't look your age, we have to internally ask ourselves, why do we care so much about what society is thinking of us? Right? Why is that messaging so important to us, and why is it making us look at ourselves in a negative way?
Right. We also, you know, if you consume daily, often, you know, the things that aren't healthy for your mind, you know, it's going to impact you. Like, I mean, it really is. It's, you know, I was just talking to someone recently, and they were talking about, you know, one of their kids, and we were talking about how, you know, it's kids are having a hard time right now. It's hard to, you know, it's hard growing up, right? Like challenges come up, and a lot of kids are struggling with big feelings and anxiety and comparison to their friends. And a lot of, you know, it's very natural and normal developmental experiences. But then there's social media. You start to look these things up because this is what you're seeking out, right? You're this people who are sharing those experiences, right, with you. So I'm going to look up other people that are sad and struggling, and and it gets very dark.
Yeah, what you put out, you get back.
Exactly. And so then your algorithm is just feeding you all of that, right? Over and over, and that's all you're consuming. And so that, I think we have to have a responsibility for ourselves, and, you know, even for our children, to be really aware of what we are consuming. Like, I don't watch the news for a reason.
Right.
You know
Same.
what I mean?
Yeah, I have no, sad to say, I have no idea what's going on in the world right now, because it makes me too anxious.
Right. I have to protect my peace, and that's what's most important. And I just don't think it's healthy to consume just sadness and
because
tragic.
It's writing a narrative in our head that we should be fearful and that we're doing something wrong all the time. So if we flip that script and flip that negative self-talk to, and first be aware that this is what I'm doing. I'm speaking to myself negatively on a daily basis. And then saying, why am I doing this, right? What am I gaining from this? How is this serving me? Is it serving me to talk to myself about myself this way? No. Right? So then how do I flip that script? How do I change that? How do I talk to myself in a way that I am treating myself like I treat the people that I love?
Right.
How do I talk to me that way?
Exactly. And so I think that's a huge element to this too, of if you are feeling, you know, a certain way about getting older, or how you look, or how you should look, you know, that big word, like should.
Stop shoulding on yourself.
Stop shoulding, yeah. I think like doing a whole just evaluation check-in with what am I looking at? What am I listening to? What am I, you know, and just
what am I surrounding myself with? What
is
messages?
It serving me? Is this healthy for me? And I think those are things that you can, small things you can do that don't cost money. You know, to start making some shifts in our own lives, so that we're coming from a healthier mental space. And then if at the end of the day you continue to look in the mirror and you're like, I just don't like this about myself. I want to change this. This is something I want to change to make myself feel better, but you're doing it from a healthy space. I think
I'm doing it for me.
yes.
Not because I'm worried about what somebody else is thinking of me.
Or I'm trying to compare to this person or keep up with this person or, you know, fit into society's norms and standards of, you know, we all should stay looking 20.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's hard for
It is
sure.
hard. It is hard. And I will say there's a ripple effect, right? Once more of us start coming from that place and showing other people that, you know, we're able to practice self-love and positive self-talk and all of these things, it catches on.
100%. That goes back to the whole Botox and like, again, I don't know if calling it a trend is appropriate or not, or what it is, but, you know, you see these movements, if you will, you know, of, you know, I would say 20 years ago, like I said, like Botox was the thing, and it, you know, everybody was, people are still doing it, not to say that it's gone away, but I feel like there definitely has been a noticeable shift in doing more natural, procedures and things, or, you know, to try and get the same effect without injections.
Right. And taking more accountability or time to do those things for yourself at home.
Yes. Yep. Absolutely. So, well, we appreciate the question.
Yeah.
I mean,
yes. Thank you so much for the question. It was very insightful and helpful to us.
Yes.
Too. And
it's funny because I think we had to look ourselves in the mirror and go, I mean, even, you know, why do I color my hair?
Right.
You know, like, cause I don't want to be old. I don't want to look old, you know, like
totally.
I'm already like I feel like the old mom at the school, you know,
but that's your message to yourself, right? That's the story you've created in your mind.
Right.
Yeah. And I have lots of them myself too. Absolutely.
You know, so no, but this was a good topic for all of us to unpack. We're all going through it and experiencing our own internal dialogues, and
even younger people.
Yes.
Even younger girls. So.
100%. So keep moving forward, take care of your mind, take care of your body. And you know what, if you feel like you're in a healthy space and say, hey, I still want to do whatever, go do it for you.
But do it for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not because you feel like you need to.
Yes. Thank you for listening.
Yes. Thank you for listening.
As always, I'm Danielle.
And I'm Cindy.